The violent hiss of a dying engine filled the cockpit as Captain Jace Thorne wrestled with the controls. Sparks flew, alarms blared, and the ground below rushed up to meet him. His starship, a small, battered vessel designed for exploration, plummeted through an alien atmosphere dense with green-tinged clouds. Jace braced himself as the ship struck the ground, skidding through an emerald forest. Finally, it came to rest against a cluster of crystalline rocks, their sharp edges glittering ominously in the sunlight. Pain radiated through his body, but he forced himself to move. His survival training kicked in: assess, stabilize, adapt. When the hatch groaned open, Jace staggered out, taking in his surroundings. The air was breathable, the gravity slightly lighter than Earth's, and the planet breathtaking. Towering trees with shimmering leaves stretched toward the sky, and streams of liquid light meandered through the forest floor. Yet something told him he was not alone. Salara stood hidden among the trees, her heart pounding in a way it hadn't for years. She had watched the vessel fall from the sky and felt compelled to investigate. As she observed the strange being stumble from the wreckage, her curiosity deepened. He was unlike any of her people, taller, sturdier, his face lined with an intensity she found mesmerizing. Gathering her courage, she stepped into the clearing. The human turned sharply, his hand instinctively moving to a holstered weapon at his side. Salara raised her hands in a gesture of peace. "Do not fear," she said, her voice lilting and melodic. "I mean you no harm." Jace's eyes narrowed. He had seen many alien species in his travels, but none as striking as the one before him. Her skin was a soft luminescent silver, her hair flowing like molten gold, and her eyes, large and glimmering with shades of violet, held a sorrow he couldn't place. "Who are you?" he asked cautiously. "I am Salara," she replied. "And you are far from home." Over the following days, Salara helped Jace recover from his injuries and adapt to her world. She taught him how to harvest the nourishing fruit of the lumina trees and how to avoid the predatory shadows that lurked at night. In turn, Jace shared stories of Earth, his travels, and his dreams of exploring the unknown. Salara found herself drawn to him in ways she hadn't anticipated. His determination, his humor, and the way he seemed to see her not as a widow defined by loss, but as a person with untapped potential. It stirred something within her. One evening, as they sat by a glowing stream, she confessed her story. Her husband had been a leader among the Arelith, a visionary who sought peace in a time of war. His death had left a void in her life and in their society. The Arelith had grown cold, pragmatic, and disconnected, and she felt trapped in the remnants of a life she no longer recognized. "I cannot live like this anymore," Salara said, her voice trembling. "My people demand that I bind myself to another, for political alliance and practicality. But I want more. I need more." Jace tilted his head, unsure where she was going. "I see in you a strength that could save me," she continued. "A courage that could help my people remember what we have lost. And perhaps we could build something new together." Jace blinked, stunned. "Are you asking me to?" "Yes," Salara said, her violet eyes locking onto his. "Take me as your wife. Not for duty, but for hope." The days that followed were fraught with tension. Salara's people were wary of Jace, some outright hostile. Her proposal had political ramifications that threatened to upend delicate alliances. And Jace struggled with the enormity of what was being asked of him. He had come to respect and care for Salara deeply, but marriage was a commitment he hadn't expected to face on an alien world. "Why me?" he asked her one night. "Because you are different," Salara said simply. "You see what could be, not just what is. And I believe we can find a way to heal, together." In a ceremony blending Arelith and human traditions, Salara and Jace pledged themselves to each other. The bond was more than symbolic. It was a statement of unity, a defiance of the divisions that had plagued both their worlds. As they faced the challenges ahead, resolving political tensions, confronting external threats, and building a life together, Jace and Salara found strength in their unlikely partnership. Their union became a legend among the stars, a story of love transcending boundaries, and a reminder that even in the darkest times, hope could bloom anew. Salara and Jace's union sent ripples through the Arelith society. Some revered the act as a courageous step toward progress, while others saw it as a betrayal of their culture. Whispers of dissent echoed in the halls of the crystalline city where Salara resided. "The human will bring ruin," one elder warned during a council meeting. "He is an outsider, unbound by our ways." But Salara stood firm. "It is our ways that bind us to the past. If we do not evolve, we will fade into irrelevance." Jace, ever the diplomat in his own right, knew their bond would not suffice to sway hearts. He sought ways to prove his worth, not just to Salara but to her people. He began helping the Arelith with his knowledge of technology, teaching them methods to improve their agricultural systems and defense mechanisms. Slowly, some softened their stance, though a shadow of resistance lingered. Months after their union, strange disturbances began to plague the Arelith world. Entire sections of their lush forests were found scorched, the once vivid streams turning black and lifeless. "It's the Yvani," Salara whispered one evening, her voice heavy with dread. "They've discovered you're here. They see you as a symbol of rebellion, one they must crush to keep us subdued." Jace felt a pang of guilt. "Then I've made things worse for you." Salara placed a hand on his arm, her touch firm. "No. You've given us something worth fighting for." The Yvani, a warlike species who had dominated their region of space for centuries, had long sought to subjugate the Arelith fully. Now, with the presence of a human, a species known for their defiance and ingenuity, they were preparing to escalate their campaign. Knowing they couldn't face the Yvani alone, Jace and Sylara sought to unite the fractious tribes of the Arelith. It was no small feat. Generations of mistrust and isolation had left deep scars. One by one, they traveled to distant settlements, convincing leaders to set aside their differences. Salara's eloquence and Jace's practicality made a formidable team. But not every meeting ended in success. During one tense negotiation, an elder spat at Jace's feet. "Why should we trust a being who does not belong to our stars? You are as much a threat as the Yvani." Jace met the elder's gaze, unflinching. "Because I've seen what happens when fear divides us. My own people have made that mistake before. I'm here because I believe we're stronger together." Though some remained skeptical, others began to see the truth in his words. The Yvani attacked under the cover of a crimson sky, their ships raining fire upon the Arelith cities. Jace had prepared as best he could, training the Arelith in tactics borrowed from Earth's long history of warfare. With Salara by his side, he coordinated the defense, blending human ingenuity with Arelith technology. The battle was fierce. Salara, though not a soldier, led her people with a ferocity born of desperation. Jace fought alongside them, his skills honed through years of exploration and survival. Amid the chaos, they uncovered the Yvani's true plan, to destroy the planet's life-giving core, ensuring no Arelith could resist their dominion. Jace and Salara led a daring mission to infiltrate the Yvani command ship. It was a gamble with everything at stake. Deep within the Yvani ship, Jace confronted the warlord commanding the invasion. The alien towered over him, a grotesque blend of machine and flesh. But Jace wasn't intimidated. He fought with the determination of someone who had everything to lose. Salara, meanwhile, used her knowledge of Arelith energy systems to overload the ship's core. She worked swiftly, her heart pounding as alarms blared around her. "Jace," she called through their comms. "We don't have much time." Jace managed to incapacitate the warlord, racing to Salara's side. Together, they escaped moments before the ship erupted in a blinding explosion, taking the Yvani fleet with it. The victory came at a cost. Many Arelith lives were lost, and their cities lay in ruins. Yet, for the first time in generations, they had hope. Salara and Jace stood before the surviving tribes, a symbol of unity and resilience. "We have shown that together, we can face even the greatest of threats," Salara declared. "Let this be the beginning of a new chapter for our people." Jace, his arm wrapped around her, added, "And let it be a reminder that love and trust can bridge even the stars." Their bond became a cornerstone for rebuilding the Arelith civilization. Tribes that had once been divided worked together to restore their world, inspired by the unlikely partnership of a human and an alien widow. In time, their story spread beyond the Arelith, becoming a legend among the stars, a tale of courage, love, and the power of unity in the face of adversity. And though challenges remained, Jace and Salara faced them together, proving that even in the vast expanse of the galaxy, home was not a place but a bond shared between hearts. In the months following the victory over the Yvani, the Arelith world began to heal. The once blackened streams glimmered with life again, and the scorched forests sprouted new growth. Jace and Sylara were heralded as heroes, not just for their bravery in battle but for the unity they inspired among their people. Yet, peace remained fragile. The Arelith Council, once divided, now found itself debating what role Jace should play in their society. Some feared his influence would alter their culture irreparably, while others argued that his ideas were the key to their survival. Salara stood at the heart of these discussions, her presence commanding respect. Jace is not here to change who we are but to help us grow. We must learn from one another if we are to thrive in this galaxy. Jace, ever mindful of the delicate balance, worked to tread lightly. He spent his days training Arelith scouts in defensive strategies, improving their technology, and learning their traditions. By immersing himself in their culture, he earned the trust of even his harshest critics. One evening, as Jace calibrated the remains of his starship's communication system, a faint signal crackled through. His heart raced as he deciphered it, a human distress beacon. Salara found him standing by the glowing device, his face shadowed with uncertainty. "It's from Earth," he said quietly. "A colony ship is stranded in a neighboring system." Her expression was unreadable, a mix of concern and understanding. "You feel responsible. They might need help. But leaving now, after everything we've built here," he trailed off, torn between duty and his new life. Salara placed her hands on his shoulders, her touch grounding him. "You have given so much to my people. If this is what you must do, I will not stop you. But know this, you are not alone in this galaxy anymore. Wherever you go, my heart goes with you." Jace agonized over the decision for days, consulting with Salara and the Council. In the end, they reached a compromise. Jace would take a small delegation of Arelith volunteers with him, both to assist the human colony and to learn about Earth's technology and culture. "It's a chance to show your people who we are," Salara said, her violet eyes filled with determination. "To build bridges, as we have done here." Jace nodded, his resolve strengthening. "Then we'll go together." The expedition was both thrilling and daunting. Jace, Salara, and their Arelith crew navigated the uncharted regions of space, encountering wonders and dangers alike. The Arelith marveled at human technology, while Jace found himself humbled by the depth of their wisdom and connection to nature. When they finally reached the stranded colony ship, they found it in disarray. The humans aboard were desperate, their supplies dwindling and morale shattered. At first, they viewed the Arelith with suspicion, but Jace stood as a bridge between them. "These people are not here to harm you," he assured the colony leader. "They're here to help. Together, we can make this right." Salara, ever the diplomat, worked tirelessly to mediate disputes and foster trust. Her calm demeanor and eloquence slowly won over even the most skeptical colonists. The rescue mission marked the beginning of a new alliance. The humans and Arelith discovered that, despite their differences, they had much to offer one another. The Arelith taught the humans how to harness natural energy from the environment, while the humans shared techniques for constructing durable starships and sustainable habitats. For Jace and Sylara, the mission was a testament to their bond. Together, they navigated political tensions, faced threats from scavengers, and witnessed the awe of two civilizations meeting for the first time. One night, as they stood beneath a sky filled with unfamiliar stars, Jace took Salara's hand. "We've come so far," he said softly. "And yet, I feel like this is only the beginning." Salara smiled, her gaze luminous. "The galaxy is vast, my love. But as long as we walk it together, I am not afraid." When the expedition returned to the Arelith homeworld, they were greeted with celebration. The humans in Arelith had not only saved a colony but forged a partnership that promised to reshape the balance of power in their corner of the galaxy. Jace and Salara became ambassadors for this new era of cooperation. They traveled to distant worlds, speaking of the strength found in unity and the beauty of embracing diversity. Their story inspired countless others to reach across divides and find common ground. And though their journey was far from over, Jace and Salara faced it with unshakable resolve, their love a beacon in the vastness of space. Together, they proved that even the most unlikely bonds could endure and flourish, shining brightly in the infinite darkness of the stars. Thus, their legacy grew, not as conquerors or saviors, but as builders of a bridge between worlds, one heart at a time. Years passed, and the bond between humans and the Arelith grew stronger. The once fractured Arelith society thrived, enriched by human innovations, while humanity gained wisdom from the Arelith's harmony with nature. Jace and Sylara stood at the center of it all, their story a guiding light for this newfound alliance. But even heroes long for peace. After countless missions, diplomatic negotiations, and harrowing adventures, Jace and Sylara found themselves yearning for a simpler life. One evening, as they strolled through the rejuvenated Arelith forests, Salara looked up at the stars. "Do you ever wonder if we've done enough? If it's time to stop wandering?" Jace smiled, his hand tightening around hers. "I've been thinking the same. We've spent so long fighting for others, maybe it's time we live for ourselves, for once." Salara's eyes glimmered with warmth. "Then let's find a place. A home where we can grow old together." With the blessing of both the human and Arelith councils, Jace and Sylara chose a quiet corner of the Arelith world to settle down. They built a home amid the crystalline groves, blending the best of both their cultures. The structure shimmered like Arelith crystal yet held the warmth of human design, a reflection of the life they had forged together. Their days were filled with simple joys, tending to a small garden, sharing stories with visitors, and exploring the surrounding forests hand in hand. They welcomed those who sought guidance or inspiration, their home becoming a sanctuary for travelers and dreamers alike. One morning, Salara approached Jace with a radiant smile, holding a tiny, glowing flower she had cultivated in their garden. "Life finds a way," she said cryptically, placing his hand over her heart. Jace's brow furrowed, but as understanding dawned, his expression softened into awe. "Are you saying—" Salara nodded. "Our bond has created something new. I carry within me a child, a symbol of all we've fought for, of what we've built." Tears filled Jace's eyes as he pulled her into a gentle embrace. "A family," he whispered. "We're starting a family." Their child, a beautiful blend of human and Arelith traits, was celebrated as a symbol of unity. The little one, named Lyra after the brightest star in the sky, embodied the hope and resilience that had brought their peoples together. Lyra's curiosity was boundless, her laughter a melody that filled their home. She inherited Salara's grace and Jace's unyielding spirit, often leading her parents on small adventures through the forest. Watching their child grow, Jace and Sylara found a joy that no diplomatic triumph or military victory could match. As the years turned into decades, the galaxy they had once struggled to unite began to flourish. The Arelith and humans forged deeper ties, creating a coalition that stood as a beacon of peace and cooperation. Though Jace and Sylara stepped back from public life, their story lived on, told in songs, books, and holovids across countless worlds. They were hailed as the couple who proved that love could transcend not just distance but entire species. In their later years, Jace and Sylara sat side by side on the balcony of their home, watching the twin moons rise over the crystal forest. Their hands, weathered but still entwined, spoke of a lifetime of shared trials and triumphs. "Do you think we've done enough?" Jace asked softly, his voice touched with wonder. Sylara leaned her head against his shoulder, her smile serene. "We've done more than enough, my love. We've lived a life filled with purpose, and we've built something that will endure. And we did it together," Jace added, his voice full of gratitude. They sat in comfortable silence, the universe stretching infinitely above them. And though the stars burned brightly in the vastness of space, the brightest light in their lives was the love they shared, a love that had overcome every challenge and would echo in the hearts of generations to come.